Warning, warning. This video is not affiliated with Jodecideion in any way, and any opinions expressed in this video that you don't quite agree with, get over it because, hey, reality sucks sometimes. And just so you know, this is a Nintendo fan's perspective on things. Nintendo does things the right way. That being said, let's hear it with my review on the Xbox reveal. You know, I did the first video as far as what my impressions were for the PS4, but now I find myself compelled and obligated to respond to what I believe the Xbox One is. And guys, keep an open mind, but I can tell you one thing. You are not, in fact, going to agree with everything that I say. But I will say this too. If there is someone to blame for what you see before our eyes now, then blame yourselves, the so-called hardcore gaming community. Let's get this thing started. Now, the very nature of a reveal for the Xbox One has one specific purpose. Show off the features of the console, correct? Show off the functionality of the console. And let me just say this straight, because I know people are going to watch this video and the first thing they're going to say is, but where's the games? But where's the games? This is not E3, people. This is a console reveal. And as such, the main purpose of the reveal is to show off the potential of the console. Gaming is a given. And I know that might hurt your feelings that you guys are not quite the center of the universe at this moment. But as last generation proved, it will take more than just a hardcore gamer to make a console shine. And as this article states, I find it amazing that there are some people who are able to see true creativity, true vision, and then there are others who just don't quite have that ability to recognize greatness when they see it. Not to say that this system isn't flawed, but I will tell you this much. Microsoft is smart enough to know that if they cater to both the hardcore and quote-unquote, and this isn't even someone who you would call casual. This is just appealing to a totally different demographic group, which is, bam, television watchers. And to be honest with you, if you want your device to be relevant as something much, much more than strictly a video game console, and let's be fair, gentlemen, with the new consoles costing in the range of $400 and $500, you are completely unrealistic if you don't expect there to be additional functionality that must be added to increase the value of the purchase. No one's going to spend $400 to $500 on something that just does one thing. And for you who think that that's a possibility, pull your heads out of the sand. People expect value for their dollar. It's a fact. And whether you think that that's an appropriate strategy or not, it is the world that we live in today. Now, I'm not completely on a Microsoft bandwagon. I'll just say this. There's only one company, that can strictly make a console with nothing but gaming in mind. And as we all know, that company is Nintendo. So let's just completely ignore the rest of that for a moment, okay? Nintendo's the only company that can obviously do gaming correctly. Now, what Microsoft is doing, I have no complaints about it. Is it a compelling buy for me? At this point in time, definitely. Because you know why? I'm a tech head and I'm a gamer. And for me, giving me a device that will basically control my living room, I'm down for that. My Wii U and possibly an Xbox One that will control the living room, hey, that works for me. Add another PC, that works. You see, in a day and age where little media boxes are popular, whether it be a Roku, a Google TV, an Apple TV, Netgear has a few media players of mine that they do, but all of these things typically have flaws, and none of them can give you an interface, and they're all fragmented as far as they all require remote controls. to give us an experience with just one device that can handle all of that for us, hey, priceless. So those who are upset about the reveal, I'll just put it to you this way too. Look, I didn't want to go this route with you guys, but I can see now that I need to and that I have to go here with you. If there is someone to blame, blame yourselves. Why do I say that? You see, for every single time that a product is not sold, every single time that a developer studio closes, I hate to break it to you guys. Most of the time, some of those things are due to cheap gamers. Gamers who refuse to pay money for their products. Gamers who expect discounts for everything to play games. You see, you guys, especially you so-called hardcore gamers, you want these unprecedented graphics. You want these graphics that just knock your socks off. But most of you aren't even willing to shell out the full money to pay for that experience. High standards, but with Pinto cash. You want a Lamborghini, but you got Pinto money. What kind of scenario is that? Now, as far as blocking used games, doesn't affect me. I don't buy used games. Some of you do. Some of that might be a big deal to y'all. But for me, the $1 or $2 extra that I save for a game being used, sorry, it doesn't do much for me. I actually like to unseal my games. I do. That's one of the things that I take pleasure in. And personally, reason why I've always been that way, the one time that I bought a used game, and this was a long time ago, and I'm trying to remember, this might have been a PlayStation 2 game or something like that. This was way back in the days. The game was scratched. And I tell you, after that, I vowed every game that I buy, it's going to be a game that's going to be brand new. I want that smooth disc, the disc that doesn't have any flaws. So cheap gamers are the real reason Microsoft is having to, let's just say it nicely, increase their revenue stream some way, somehow. If you guys don't like it, answer with your cotton picking wallets. Talk is cheap, ladies and gentlemen. Cheap so-called hardcore gamers who aren't willing to shell out the extra money to pay for these superior next-gen hardcore graphics. You make me sick. You see, Nintendo doesn't have that problem. You know, there is a happy medium, but you guys didn't like that, remember? You guys didn't like the fact that Nintendo tried to balance, let's see, cost for the consumer as well as developmental cost for the studio. You didn't like that. You felt that the graphics weren't next gen enough. So now you have to pay for expensive hardware and expensive games, and you are unwilling to answer with your wallet. You're already concerned about price. That's the problem with you cheap gamers. All talk and no bite. Most of the time, I'm an Apple fanboy. But you know what I can say about at least Apple fanboys? We talk with our wallets. If a product is superior and if it costs, we still buy our product. You cheap so-called hardcore gamers should take a page from that. Now, as far as what I believe that Microsoft can do with this console, I believe it's off to an excellent start. I have way more faith in Microsoft than I do in a company like Sony, who's on its last leg, who has continued to disappoint, who's continued to lie, and who's continued to never, ever, ever be able to produce a product and know and trust from the consumer, know that it's actually going to work and stay that way. After the stunt that they pulled last generation, it'd be a cold day in hell before I buy another PS4.